A powerful, forward-thinking, and very affluent city existed several years ago. It was one of the greatest cities in the world. This city had multiple gates and very high towers. Babylon is the origin of modern mathematics and writing. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon were an engineering marvel and one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Transport was facilitated by drawbridges, roads, and ferries. The riches of the city were unfathomable. People built remarkable works of art out of gold. The Grand Royal Palace was the biggest structure ever constructed in human history. Babylon was located in what is now modern-day Iraq. The Tower of Babel was the largest tower in the world at the time. Following the fall of the Akkadian Empire, the Assyrians and Babylonians emerged and began to fight for control of the surrounding lands. The first people to establish an empire that would engulf the entirety of Mesopotamia would be the Babylonians, as they had gained control of most of the land. Around 1792 BC, when King Hammurabi was chosen to rule, the Amorites migrated in to reclaim their land as the Akkadian Empire collapsed. It wasn't long after Hammurabi assumed the throne that he would want to extend his rule. He sought out to conquer other city-states in the region. Within a short period of time, he had successfully conquered the entire nation of Mesopotamia, including the Assyrians in the north. Hammurabi rose to become one of the most powerful kings of his era and contributed to Babylon becoming the richest and most successful city in ancient history. Babylon, which was largely situated on the banks of the Euphrates River, was a major trading hub for people from all over the world. Because supplies and resources were plentiful, the city experienced a constant flow of money, goods, services, and resources. Babylon was also technologically advanced and would be the first to adopt all new concepts and innovations as they became available around the world. At the time, Babylon was also by far the largest city in the world. In the city's center, the inhabitants have constructed a sizable pyramid that they used as a temple. According to researchers, this pyramid would have been about 100 meters tall and have wide streets leading to it from all of the city's entrances. Surrounding the pyramids and other parts of the city were gardens, palaces, towers and exquisite artwork unlike anything humanity had ever seen. It would have also been the global hub for culture, with science, music, mathematics, astronomy, and literature flourishing within its boundaries. The Babylonians are credited with inventing the wheel, modern agriculture, the bow, the plow, irrigation, and several other innovations that helped found the world. Because of these Babylonian inventions, we are where we are today. Many of the earliest humans asserted that beings from the sky visited them and taught them how to live well and make the most of their surroundings. The Babylonians contributed to the development of the first writing system, which utilized clay tablets that were inscribed with wedge-shaped letters. This served to document much of their history and how they developed early mathematics. Because of these writing techniques, we are able to learn more about ancient Babylon than ancient Egypt. They would be the first civilization to use mathematics to measure land, tax people, and conduct all kinds of business. They would also use numbers to document the night sky in order to create a lunar calendar that was remarkably accurate for its time. The Babylonians would also discover the foundations of modern mathematics. They were the first civilization to use symbols to represent large numbers. King Hammurabi was the first person to ever request that laws be written down. Prior to this time, most laws were just passed around by word of mouth or they were implied. This left a lot of legal gray area for citizens. We also have reason to believe that the Babylonians developed the first abacus, which is essentially an early version of a calculator. Most of Hammurabi's laws were strangely specific, but these rules would serve as guidelines that could be applied if similar circumstances were to occur. At the time, there were only 282 laws in the land, which is very different from today's world where there are thousands of laws we have to abide by. When Hammurabi eventually died, his sons were given control of the city. The problem was that they lacked his sternness and leadership skills, which caused the city to weaken over time. As a result, the surrounding nations and cities lost faith in Babylon. Assyrians later moved in and overthrew the Kassites, claiming ownership of Babylon. The city was only reclaimed by Babylonians in 612 BC, with much of the city being rebuilt. The Kassites moved in and conquered Babylon, overthrowing the new leaders and claiming the city as their own. They would rule over Babylon for about 400 years, reversing all of Hammurabi's rules and turning the city completely on its head to better. This new empire, often referred to as the Neo-Babylonian Empire, is thought to be the Second Babylonian Empire. In 616 BC, King Nebuchadnezzar used the fall of the Assyrian Empire to his advantage in order to seize the throne of Babylon. His son would follow in his father's footsteps and work to restore Babylon to its former glory. Nebuchadnezzar's son King Nebuchadnezzar II would rule the city for 43 years and would go down in history as one of the greatest rulers the city had ever known. He would rule with an iron fist, but many of his laws would be upheld by the people, so everything was good. Nebuchadnezzar II would also prove to be an outstanding military commander, helping Babylon to expand west and claim more territory for itself. He would also direct the forces that saw the Hebrews captured. After he died, the city would once more start to crumble apart. By 529 BC, the city had been claimed by the Persians and was now recognized as part of the Persian Empire. All of Nebuchadnezzar's restoration work had once again been undone. Soon after a significant flood, when everyone in the area still spoke the same language, the Tower at Babel was constructed. They wanted to construct a huge tower that would reach the sky. Some people seem to think that the locals built the tower so that they could eventually enter heaven, while others think that they built the tower to prevent being swept away in a new great flood. It is believed that God confused the people by making them forget their native tongue and speak new languages, which made it impossible for them to communicate or build the tower. Although it's uncertain which structure in the vicinity is the aforementioned Tower of Babel, experts generally believe that the Eight-Menanche of Babylon is the best prospect. This tower was allegedly built in honor of Marduk, the city of Babylon's patron god, and since several temples similar to this have been discovered nearby, it makes sense that a structure similar to this could have served as the inspiration for the Tower of Babel. A mission to uncover Babylon and attempt to revive the city, including rebuilding and reconstructing one of Nebuchadnezzar's palaces, was led by the Iraqi government under Saddam Hussein. However, after the US-led invasion of Iraq in 2003, their plans completely dissolved. The project was never finished, but the area was eventually opened to tourists in 2009. Because the Babylonians invented modern writing, we know so much about their city and how people once lived.